allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe James Garrett is here to do the prayer.
Come on.
Thank you.
I'm the substitute, so expect too much. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God, thank you for bringing us here this evening. God, I just thank you for another day here in Port A. I thank you for the air we breathe and the sunshine, even though it's hot. God, we just thank you for all of that. God, just bless this meeting and the conversations that happen and the men and women that are here to listen and to make decisions. God, we just pray that you would guide them in those decisions and that your will be done through it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a presentation.
Oh, okay, here we go.
I cannot believe that the end of your tenure is here. I think I was with you on almost every one of these moments with a little bit of exception at the end, but the city is indebted to you forever for your service, and your time, and not just your time here on city council, but all the years that you dedicated your life and your service to Port Aransas. We are truly grateful and blessed, and some people would sing without you, but I'm not going to. Token of our appreciation.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And always wants to talk.
I promise you can still call me John. I won't block your phone.
You promise?
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joan.
Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna call you. We're not letting you go too far. That's funny. Get out of my seat.
Okay, so next, we're going to present the certificate of election and newly elected official Dale T. Christensen.
Yeah, oath of office.
Do you want to somewhere? All right, raise your right hands.
Photo bomb.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Dale T. Christensen,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of City of Port Aransas City Council Place 6
of the office of City of Port Aransas City Council Place 6
of the state of Texas
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States and this state, so help me God.
the constitutions and the laws of the United States and this state, so help me God.
That's right. So Dale, I hereby certify the runoff election held on Tuesday, June 28th, made you the winner.
Moving right along. All right, item D. So according to the Home Rule Charter, we need to elect a Mayor Pro Tem, and that is what we will do at this time.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to elect Kelly Owens as Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay,
Okay, and I want to elect Tim Parks.
okay. There's a motion on the floor, so we have to wait for a second
Oh,
before we take
sorry.
another motion. Sorry.
Sorry.
Is there a second to nominate or elect Kelly Owens?
I second Kelly Owens.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, Fran, call the roll.
Councilmember Park,
No.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
No.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Wheelock,
No.
Councilmember Christensen,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, so much for that. All right, number 4, we were moving on to proclamations and presentations. So we have a proclamation now recognizing July as Parks and Recreation Month in the city of Port Aransas. So I think we have Colleen and her team, Ray.
Colleen could not be here.
Hello, sorry, Colleen could not be here, so she asked me to introduce you all to Christy Stevens, our new program coordinator, community program coordinator. And she really spearheaded a lot of everything you're seeing on social media and that's going on this July. So kudos to her. She's came in and is enthusiastic and doing lots of great things. So
It's the fun
I'll let her
department.
talk.
Yeah. My pleasure to meet everybody. I actually come from California. I know you guys are anti-California. I worked for the San Bernardino County Parks and Rec Department for 20 years as their rec coordinator. So I'm very experienced, and coming to Port A has been amazing. I mean, we were actually supposed to continue on to North Carolina, but made a little pit stop and never left.
Lucky us.
So I'm very excited to bring some new events, and hopefully you guys will support them. And if anybody wants to volunteer, definitely need volunteers. So keep that open, but it's been great, and I love being part of this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to officially read this because I think that's my job. So, and then y'all can take pictures.
Oh, where's the video? Oh, I have a video.
You know.
Whenever y'all are ready.
Okay, all right. I'm going to come down there.
Okay, perfect. I got nervous.
Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of the communities throughout this country, including the city of Port Aransas. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking and trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutritional services, and education. And whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time and programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to the childhood development. And whereas, yes, they do. Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, and the attraction and retention of businesses and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, and whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate the outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as the Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the city of Port Aransas recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now, therefore, I, Wendy Moore, Mayor of the City of Port Aransas, do by here certify that July is Parks and Recreation Month.
You too. Jackson's recording.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Come to the parks.
Oh, were you gonna do the video?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have it.
Oh.
There's Colin.
A little more volume, a little more. And then let's start from the beginning. There we go. Oh. All right. Third time.
Third time, that's right.
He's gonna get tired. We rise up to support Parks and Rec by providing programs for mental and physical health and education for our community. Happy Parks and Rec Month.
Hi, I'm Philip Campbell, and I rise up to parks by providing lifelong memories and activities.
Hi, I'm Kaylin, and I'm a lifeguard at Fort A Community Pool, and I rise up for part of keeping you and your family safe. Our grounds and facility crew rise up for part of making sure your safety and well-being.
Happy Parks and Recreation Month. This July, I rise up to Parks and Recreation by caring for the nature reserve.
I rise up for Parks and Rec.
That was cute.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item 5, which is citizen comments and reports. And we're going to start with a couple of reports. The first from Nathan, our fire marshal.
So I mentioned this before. Every once in a while, something just opportunity knocks. And for many years when I first got here, we hadn't had a fire marshal, and it was difficult for a small jurisdiction and a small staff with the budget we had to actually have a full-time fire marshal. But it wasn't long before I met Nathan, and gosh, now I forgot how we actually even first met. But after a couple of conversations and out of some very gracious allowances from the city of Aransas Pass, where Nathan serves as fire chief, we were able to, on his time, work with Nathan to provide fire marshal services that we wouldn't have probably been easily able to do otherwise. And so he's been a big help. Wow, we've probably been working together now since right before Harvey, right?
I got hired the week before.
Yeah, a week before Harvey. We were able to implement annual inspections for businesses, which we hadn't been able to do before. And in the end, I think just make the city safer. So a while back, council had directed David to kind of look and revisit and ensure that some of our fire striping stuff was up to date, which again immediately comes down to me. And so I was voluntold to take that initiative on. And of course, we enlisted Nathan. We started the process. It was pretty monumental. A lot of places had never had the proper markings and striping. So we started in and most recently had sent letters out to almost all the businesses and a lot of residential projects, informing them to please review with their design professionals, their layouts, make sure they were in compliance, and if they had any questions to call us. And so Nathan rode around with Carla, my senior code enforcement officer, and they made some observations. I'll let Nathan kind of talk about the ongoing process and just successes and where we still got some work. But most recently, he'll talk about it. What I passed around was something that we've come up with to make it even easier for some of these folks that don't really have a design professional and haven't ever hadn't been compliant. This was kind of predate some of this stuff. Nathan has graciously agreed to go ahead and do the plan for them, actually present the fire lane, fire access plan for just kind of a very minimal cost, probably much less what their design professionals would do. So with that, I'll shut up and turn it over to Nathan Kelly, our fire marshal. Nathan, thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's always nice to come and see you guys because I don't ever get to see y'all like once a year, or once every 6 months sometimes. But Yeah, so the fire lanes I know has been a pet project for the entire community, and that this is something that we've really been working hard to get going. And we got the letters sent out and we've gotten a lot of response. Okay, how are we doing this? How are we supposed to do this? Because a lot of people don't know how to install their own fire lanes. And like you said, I and Carla went out and we toured several different facilities or properties and looked at a lot of different stuff. And I was like, this is going to be extremely time consuming doing it in this way. And so basically, I can almost look at a property from an aerial view, Google Map, and start laying out fire lanes on where they need to be. I think that would be the easiest way to do that. I already have in my fee schedule a way to make that happen. So that's just the way we're going to go. I wanted to go forward with it instead of trying to spend just every waking hour going from property to property to property. Now, if folks still wanted to employ somebody to come do that for them, that's fine too. If they just want my help, I can do it that way as well. I'm happy to help them either way. So did y'all have any questions about fire lanes?
You can't get red paint right now for fire lanes.
You can.
We tried.
Oh, wow.
Very difficult, at least. If you have an in someplace, please tell me.
So I would say, I mean, where I would go looking for it is Lowe's and Home Depot. I know they make they don't have any.
No.
The striping companies in Corpus probably do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
The striping.
Yeah, they were very expensive. But anyway, that's, I don't want to get into detailed discussion. But
Sure.
We'll be in touch. Thank you.
But I mean, you're looking at, there's probably at least 6 different companies that I've dealt with that do striping for folks. I couldn't tell you prices or be able to recommend anybody specifically, but
Okay.
that's actually the direction I would go if I was going to get someone to stripe. If it was my property, I needed it striped. And the reason being is because they're going to come out, they should
Know what they're doing.
clean the concrete. They know what size the line is supposed to be. If they've done business here at all, then they know already what we have set up as rules for the way fire lanes should be striped. Because it is important that, you know, if you're putting in your fire lane, that you don't put in no parking and then 50 feet down the road it says fire lane, then 50 foot down the road it says no parking again. That's just not how it's supposed to be designed. Or to come in and like dash it out or something like that. It really needs to be laid out correctly the way the code says to do it. And that's actually the best way to do it.
So is there a time limit on when this is supposed to be done based on the city, Rick, I guess? Is that a question for you?
We are just asking that we see progress. We want people that have questions to ask them and to see that they're engaged in coming up with a solution. Either Nathan's really affordable. I mean, I don't know if it's like $25 is what we
Oh,
think
yeah.
most of these can be done, which is just 1 hour his time for our fee schedule. Obviously, some of the bigger projects, I'll leave that with them to negotiate with Nathan. But we're going back. The folks at Daytour responded to the letters we sent out to everybody. They just had questions. They said, well, how do we comply? And so that's when they started making those observations. And that's when we decided, you know, we just got to make it easier for Nathan agreed to do this consult.
No, good idea. Thank you.
So just as fast as we can keep the pedal on the gas.
So, I mean, when you're looking at any time that you come from something that had very little to no compliance, but now we're trying to move everybody into compliance. Of course, that's a big project, right? I mean, that's going to take time. So, I mean, we want to work with people. We want to, you know, that's a lot of my role is not, you know, oh, thou shalt, but my role is really to educate people on fire safety and why we're doing things that we're doing. So when I get people interested in doing stuff, especially when they contact me, and I can kind of come from the back and say, hey, this is why we do this, you know, and there's reasons why we put fire lanes, or there's a reason you have a smoke alarm in your house. That's so much better than just say, well, because I said so, you know, right?
Right.
And so that's actually my approach from fire inspections that I've been doing since 1993. I've been doing fire inspections.
So there's different requirements for different businesses or why they have to have them or not have them?
Sure, yeah. I mean, if your business is right on the roadway and it's a smaller business and I can take a hose off the side of the truck and I go all the way around the back of your property, there's really not a fire lane that's necessary because
Right.
the roadway is actually in the fire code, your roadway is actually part of your fire apparatus access road. So, I mean, normal people don't park in the middle of the street, right? We'd have that
Right.
towed away, so. Now when a fire truck needs to park there, they can park there. So, and so I don't see every business in town needing a
Right.
fire lane. And there are some other things that we can do, signage, that type of thing. If for some reason they elect they don't want to do a fire lane, there are provisions to put in signage. I personally wouldn't want to go that direction. I think it costs you more by buying aluminum signs and have them made and having to install them. I'd rather just put the stripe down and be done with it. We're one of the things that when I came here, it was primarily for all of our new businesses that we were working with. So the progression, what we were talking about a second ago, I got hired the week before Hurricane Harvey. And basically, we were really just looking at, I was going to be doing annual inspections. And then the hurricane happened and everything turned into me doing all new construction or rebuilds and all that. And so we really, that was our opportunity to correct a lot of the, as I say, the sins of our fathers and try to bring as much stuff back into code as we can or as close to in code as we could. And so fire lanes has been a slow, progressive thing that we've had to work on. There's just a lot of businesses in town that, okay, we've just been doing annual inspections. Our new construction is, plateaued. And so now I got some more time to work with some of that stuff. I'm not walking up and down Klein's Landing or something like that 30 times. So that Klein's Landing was a blast.
That thing was a
But,
nightmare.
No, I'll tell you, I've always been in love with this community. The first place I've moved, when I moved down here from Denton, I stayed at my friend's beach house here in town. I lived here for 6 months and loved it. So I was really glad we were able to work out a deal way back then.
Okay.
And then, I heard me and Rick had a small conversation that you guys are looking at possibly progressing the fire department, which I think is an awesome idea. I think with the growth that the city is seeing, that it's almost going to be a requirement for you guys to step up and move in that direction. And I want to tell you, I'm here right now that if you guys need help moving in that direction, I am happy to help you guys move in that direction. I've worked with fully paid departments. I've worked with combination departments, and I've been a volunteer firefighter at one time. So there's not a lot of aspects of the fire service I don't know in my 27 years I've been doing it now, starting off when I was 17 years old. So if you guys need any help with that kind of stuff, I'm always here. I'm a phone call away. Rick knows how to get a hold of me. I'm happy to help you with that.
Do appreciate it.
Okay.
Do you want to be a volunteer now?
Might be a
Adam's back there. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
might be.
The pay is really big.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan. We appreciate it.
Nathan, thank you. Okay, I'll be around for a while in case y'all need.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chief Burrows, you want to come up and introduce your new hire, sir?
Oh, I know.
Good evening. Let's start with Aaron Warren here. Aaron's our new parking enforcement attendant in addition to Alex, so we now have coverage 7 days a week. He's completed his training and has hit the ground running out there. So if you see him out on the cart, stop and say hey.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey.
Hello, Aaron.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You did a real good job. You're gonna have an opportunity to work with them and the police department. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
There are competitions, too.
Yeah.
And next,
more.
Diamond just graduated from the Regional Academy at Del Mar.
Yay.
Diamond,
Welcome.
And she's this is her first police job, and we have her hooked up with one of our star field training officers over here, Esther Dodd, who's teaching on the ropes. She's in the second week of her 16-week field training program.
Awesome.
All right.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to Port A.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, so we'll move on to just the citizen comments, and we have a few people signed up. And I'm going to start with Kathy Fulton. Kathy? Come on up, lady.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry. Hello, Dale. Yes, my name is Kathy Fulton and I am at 619 East Avenue B right now. Okay, so my first quick comment is about the board appointments and commission appointments. I just want to say that, council members are and mayor positions are held to, 6 years total, 3 terms. And then you got to take a break or a timeout for a year. And I'm kind of confused why we aren't doing that with our other appointed positions. And currently on the P and Z, there's a few people that have been on there quite a while, over 10 years. And that seems to me we need new, fresh eyes and people that will ask questions and participate and not rubber stamp. So I would like y'all to please consider this. If we're holding ourselves to that standard for this, why aren't we doing the same for the others? Moving on, I just want to say, okay, I'm really here about the Port of Corpus Christi stuff. All right, so I've got these in the back. And for everybody, please take one. This is very important. The port, as crazy as it all sounds and as crazy as this map may look, this is their map, just so you know. And they failed to show 361. They didn't even identify the ferry landings, but they want to put a VLCC turning basin right next to the ferry landing. Now, I have some information written here and who to email. We need comments by August 9th. They extended it, so I'm having to rewrite some of these really fast. This is very important because on the other side of this is also about the dredge placement areas, and the areas in green are new dredge placement areas, and right here is directly on our beach. Now, I want everybody to understand that 70, 80-foot dredge material is not sand. It is clay. I don't think that any of us want to walk in that. I know the tourists don't. The other thing is over here at our ferry landing, when we know we've already got, hour wait times, 2-hour wait times, it would require, when they do an event like this, all marine traffic will have to be shut down from every direction, and that includes the ferries. So we depend on workers from Aransas Pass, and we also depend on, I use the ferry, so we can't do this. We can't allow this. I really hope people will pay attention. Please make comment. It doesn't have to be complicated, just to be clear. If all you want to say is, hey, I do that ferry all the time, like we can tolerate more wait times, we will lose our visitors. Nobody's going to be sitting in that line for that long. So there's other issues, but these are 2 primary ones that we should all be focused on because this affects all of us. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Oh, and I did want to give my number for anybody that has questions. You are welcome to call me. My number is, I can't believe I'm doing this in a public meeting. My number is area code 432-386-3945. If you have any questions at all, please call me. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. All right, next is Shandy Williams.
Hi, all. Some of you know I'm not Shandy. I'm here on behalf of her. Her husband actually recently had a heart attack, so she could not be here. She was planning to be here. We are respectfully asking, I have her on the line right now, if she could utilize her 3 minutes from the phone. She's in Midland, Texas right now. So we're just wondering if we could do that. I know it's not traditional.
What does she just want to give her?
She just wants to give her a comment over the phone?
I have her right here.
Yeah.
Sure.
She gets 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah. Yeah, and Nate, she's
520 Ocean View. It's mine.
Yeah. And what was your name? I'm sorry.
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Shandy.
I would hold it up.
Are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, we are just looking to come closer to a resolve of what we have discussed due to the lack of parking and whatnot for the jet skis. We've abided by your rules that y'all put forth to us as much as we possibly can, while notating that none of the other boats have been held to those same standards that we are held to. We have noted many times that the jet skis are still in the slips for 2 hours. Max is one of the fishermen. He has steadily called and complained with no result. I'm asking, y'all are gonna hold me to the standard you hold everyone else to. And when I say held to the standard, I'm speaking specifically on, as soon as I pull up to the dock, there is somebody from City Harbor down there watching his watch. But yet a boat can sit there for 2 days and nobody bats an eye. We recently, my husband has suffered a heart attack. We were down there for the 4th of July. I am tired of my family being harassed. You will not push me out of this town. I am here and I'm bringing more jet skis. I am here to do what the patrons want. My son was fishing on the bulkhead, July 3rd. He was asked by Madison not to fish on the bulkhead. We went down to our private slip that we leased from the boatmen's at 8:03. Madison then ordered one of the employees to go over there and film us. My son, my 9-year-old son, in a fishing community throwing a casting net, has the police called on him. They wanted me ticketed for fishing in a no fishing. Number one, I never touched the cast net. I have a license and everything. It wouldn't have mattered if I did, but I was busy taking care of skis and customers. When my husband went after the police left, because clearly that is not a no fishing area, when the police left, my husband went and spoke with Madison, and she stated, I do exactly what Rick Adams and David Parsons tell me to do. I don't work out of that. They tell me what to do, and I do it. I'm just doing my job. I'm going to ask that there be a heart check. If you're calling the cops on a 9-year-old little boy throwing a casting net, when the day before we have all of our EMS personnel reporting to a 16-year-old Port Aransas employee that is killed in a head-on collision. I will not stand for this. The harassment will stop. You will treat every other patron and customer that you have on that dock just the same as you do me, because notes are being taken. This is not a sleepy community of the 2013 rules that were created. This is now a beach goer's paradise. It's not a fishing community anymore. Okay. You guys need to open your eyes and see what's coming. Okay. We ask that there be, because Labor Day weekend is coming and we have 15 jet skis.
I'm so sorry. We have to cut you off, but we got to hear all the comments. So
that's kind of her point, is we're still just looking for a solution, and we don't want another month to go by because we're doing everything we can. We have 11 jet skis. We don't want to just launch 11 jet skis in the water and hope for the best, put customers on them and let them go. I work for Getting Salty. I'm out there 12 to 15 hours a day in the hot sun. I tow my jet skis back and forth, trying to abide by the rules because we keep them in Virginia's, and we load up at the boat ramp literally 15 hours a day just to abide by the rules, because sometimes we get 5 jet skis, sometimes we get 2, sometimes we get 8. And if there's one over what I need, well, I'm spending 20, 30 minutes towing it back and forth, not including the 18 minutes exactly it takes me to do a safety instruction.
I'm sorry. I completely understand. It's not a topic on the agenda, so we can't discuss it with you or with her right now, but we'll just have to go back to staff and see what's going on.
We just want to come to a solution with it.
All right. Thank you for your time. All right. Next is Ken Marsh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council members. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the time that you spend directing our city and taking care of our city and our actions that are happening here. Recently, I've been noticing the stormwater problems that we have. I live on Blue Heron Drive, and at the corner of Blue Heron and Marina is a subdivision called Laguna Isles. And it's been a long time coming. It's been there for a long time and it's failed and got back resurrected, but it's perpetually been a trash pile. And it's full of invasive species of plants, and it's got vermins and snakes over there and the wood piles of trash have wound up. Well, now they've started building some houses. And the stormwater that comes off of there flows right down into Blue Heron Drive. And it wasn't designed properly. They paved over a city intersection and they didn't do it correctly by any standards or construction or engineering standards the way it was done, and it will fail as soon as they get some traffic over it. It doesn't handle the water. But if it did, the water is going into Island Moorings canals, not contained on their property. Island Moorings homeowner association just assessed me over $6,000 to dredge my canal, dredging the canals out there. And that's never been done before. And so they certainly don't have anything in that, but in the future they may. So I don't think it's permissible or legal to dump stormwater off your property onto someone else's. And I think probably it's a violation. And maybe it's an illegal discharge into coastal waters, what they're doing. And so I would like something done about that. I'd like that intersection torn out, redesigned to keep their stormwater on their property. Because they've got drains in there that are going into the stormwater drains that Island Moorings put in to handle theirs. And now it's coming into our canals. And I don't think that's a fair shot. I'd like to see somebody examine that thing before we have to take any kind of action. So the second thing that I'd like to say is about beach access road. I don't think a delaying tactic is any necessary. I don't like the idea of a committee to examine it. It looks to me like this is maybe a delaying tactic that has some probably political persuasion behind it. And I don't like that as a citizen here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next is Marty Phelan.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. I just got a couple of real quick questions. I know that the short-term rental, the project, how many there are is on the agenda later on and an update. We've been waiting for a long time on this. We need to know how many short-term rentals are in town. More importantly, really, we need to know how many are planned over the next 5 years. And then what is the max load for the town that we can handle on this? What's the cap? What's the end? And there is a infrastructure issue here and a cap thing, an issue and the thing, Kathy, with the dredging and stuff, you know, an emergency and evacuation route, that all those time thing delays, it all ties in together. If you can't get off the island, there's only one road in and one ferry out. So the short-term rental issue is, I'd like to see a list, if it's all possible, of the top 10 issues for the priorities for the city. So everybody, it's all transparency. Everybody knows what the city is working on. And then I have heard, I don't know, but I believe there's an effort underway, or some people at least have discussions to ballard off vehicle traffic on part of the city beach. If that is true, I would rather see the city get in front of that issue rather than behind it. And if it needs to go to a referendum for people to vote on it, to eminent domain, but we need to keep vehicle traffic, in my view, on the beach, just like it's been for the last 100 years. And people shouldn't be trying to bowl it off or restrict access to that beach in any way. Last thing is one thing you might want to consider. Back when I was working at a plant, we used to have what was called an ombudsman. That the city hires an ombudsman that can report right in executive session to the city council, and it'd be a vehicle for residents and city employees to have a nonpartisan or a non-involved person hear their complaints. And it'd be like the woman that was on the phone talking about the jet skis and stuff. It's a vehicle for the people to get complaints right to the city council. And somebody can, you know, it's just an allegation at some point, right? Whether what I say is true or what anybody else says is true, but somebody could vet that for you. And then you guys could make an informed decision on whatever information comes. But an ombudsman position could probably be done pretty cheap, and it's confidential and goes right back to you guys in your executive sessions. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
The only other card I have is Chad. Do you want to speak during the actual P&Z selection time, or do you want to take your citizen comments now? Okay. All right. So citizen comments and reports are over, so we're going to close and go to executive session.